everybody. So hello, welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to learning all about crystal elixirs. So I've been telling people, like, I love doing these videos, especially live videos. So if there's something that you maybe want to learn more about, or that you might have a question about, or anything like that, feel free to email me. Like, I like doing these videos. I love helping people out. So any opportunity that I get to do more live videos, awesome. So if you guys have questions on anything, or think of a topic maybe that you want to discuss, or that maybe you want to learn from, by all means, go ahead and email me. My email is kelly@psychickelly.com. I still answer my own emails. So by all means, go ahead and do that. But today we're going to be learning all about crystal elixirs. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about why we want to even consider having crystals in our water, or crystals where something that we're going to be able to ingest. And so I always have to tell people that when it comes to crystals and when it comes to crystal elixirs, especially when you're putting anything into your body, be conscious. Like, don't just assume, well, I read it on the internet and I'm just going to stick it in my mouth. I'm like, Lord have mercy, don't be doing that. So do your research. If you feel like it may not be safe for you, don't do it. Don't do it. So there's some things I came across on the internet today that I was like, ooh, I might disagree with a few things. So I did bring some crystals here to help you guys learn and understand some stuff. But like I said, the biggest thing is that at any point in time, if you feel a little iffy, don't do it. It's better to be safe than sorry. So understand, a lot of crystals contain aluminum, asbestos, sulfur, all kinds of different naturally occurring minerals. And so you want to be really careful with the type of crystals that you're choosing. So I have a good 10 crystals here that I know that are safe. I've done it before, so I know that these are easy ones. And there's some that are like in the middle, and I'm going to mention to you guys about those. And then I'll also talk to you guys a little bit about maybe which ones to avoid for sure. But relatively speaking, like I said, we're going to talk about like not only which crystals, but how you can use them outside of just drinking them. So now here's the deal with crystals. Each crystal vibrates at a different energy or frequency or hertz, right? So each one of our body parts vibrates or resonates at a certain vibrational frequency. Certain crystals can help us with that vibrational frequency. So say like I have a lung issue, for instance, and I don't even know, because I didn't look this up. But if my lungs, you know, and you can look at the hertz of how they vibrate. If it's like 400 hertz, well, I'm going to get a crystal, most likely pink and green, that's going to be vibrating at that energy level to be able to get the body in a place of allowance to heal. All right. So you can do this with not only healing crystals, but we can do it for protection. We can do it for abundance. We can do it for self-confidence. There's a lot of different reasons of why you can use crystals. Okay. So, and I'm talking about tonight about putting these crystals in water. So whenever you put crystals in water, it's considered an elixir. So that's one that I'm going to really talk about. Emily's already saying, I've heard that ones that end in ITE are not water safe. And that is correct. The reason why, like pyrite, hematite, things like that, it contains iron. And it's actually going to rust out. So the crystal will actually rust out. So you don't really want to do those. So anything ending in an ITE, probably not a good idea. Or even like selenite, halite, or excuse me, not halite, halite. That's salt-based. So if you put that in water, it's going to melt. So there's some things that we want to avoid, other things that we do. And that's what this one is all about tonight. All right. So like I said, number one reason why we want to use this is, again, it's for the healing energy. I will tell you that when you put your crystals in water, it absolutely will change the flavor of the water. It's especially clear quartz. It makes the water sweeter. So the one thing that, it was funny because I was talking to Curtis about this earlier, but the one thing that we've both noticed is that you got to be careful when you put these crystals in water, because when you go to take a drink, it's hit both of our front teeth before. And if you've never gotten hit in the teeth with a crystal because you're drinking it, It's smarts. So there's a couple ideas that we can kind of use here. And so first things first is that, of course, when you get a crystal, you're going to want to cleanse and charge it just like you would any other time. So we charge it, or excuse me, we cleanse it with a little bit of sage, right? That's usually the easiest way. So you could also put it in salt for a little while, different things like that. So, and that's going to be next week. I will be talking about how to properly cleanse and charge your crystals using different methods. Okay. So, but for this one right here, we're going to just we're going to cleanse it to get rid of anybody's energy that may have touched it. And I always tell people when it comes to crystals, they're your crystals. Don't let people touch them, because if they do, they're monkeying with that energy a little bit. And so I always tell people, when you want to touch somebody else's crystals, you always ask permission. Again, it's because their energy is on it and they might have cleansed it and charged it, and they don't want you touching it. So rule number one, always ask permission when it comes to other people's crystals before you touch. So, and then because sometimes if you touch it, then they'll have to cleanse it and charge it again. So easiest way to cleanse, like I said, little bit of sage. You can also, if it's water safe, you could also put it underneath some running water. That's another easy way to do it. And then after that, we want to charge it. So easiest way to do that, full moon, right? So if you don't want to wait for the full moon, we have there's a cheat method. The cheat method is using a piece of selenite. So selenite will charge other crystals. So you can put it next to a piece of selenite. It doesn't necessarily have to touch, but it's best if it does. So you can put it near a piece of selenite, and that's also going to then charge that crystal up so it's ready to go. So if you don't want to wait till the full moon, that's a good plan B. And then when the full moon comes in, you can charge it up. So understand, when you are using crystals, you are going to have to recharge them. They're a lot like little mini batteries, right? You got to recharge them. So some crystals don't necessarily need it. So selenite, black tourmaline, citrine doesn't need to be cleansed or charged, but I do it anyway. So, because I especially my citrine, I still do that anyway. So no big deal. So the first thing you're gonna do is, like I said, we're gonna cleanse it. We're gonna charge it. So after you get done with that, some people say that you can just kind of rinse it under the water and call it good. I don't buy it. I'm going to be overly cautious on this one. And so what I do is I will soak my crystals for at least 3 days. So understand, 1, 3, 6, 9, 12. Those are high vibrational frequency numbers, right? That's why when we first start to go through an awakening, the first thing you're going to see is the 11, 11, 3, 3, 3, right? So the reason why we see those is because they're highly spiritual numbers. So I like to soak my crystals for at least 3 days to make sure dirt, grime, like ickies are off. So a lot of times when we get crystals at the store, they're really, especially the rough ones, they're really powdery. And I try to rinse them before I put them on the floor. And I ask my employees to do that too, because there's a weird film sometimes with some of them. You may want to be able to kind of rinse them. So what I do is, for instance, here's my clear quartz, right? So I'll take my piece of clear quartz and I will soak it for 3 days. And I'm just going to keep it in the water for 3 days. That's all I'm going to do. Now, I am not going to drink that water, but it's going to go to good use. So after you soak it for 3 days, and mind you, once you soak these, you don't have to re-soak them again, okay? So we're just going to soak them for 3 days. Make sure all the impurities are washed off of it. Make sure that if there's any dust or anything in the little nook and crannies, it's out, right? So then you can take that water. And I'm going to tell you, don't waste it. All right. It's an elixir. It's an elixir. So you don't waste the water. So there's some things that you can do with that water. Now, you don't want to drink it. Like I said, we don't want to ingest it or necessarily maybe even have it in our skin. But you could definitely put it on your plants. You can, an ice cube just fell out of my refrigerator. But you can use it as like a protection spray. So if you don't like black tourmaline, we don't want to drink that. That's a no-go. But if you wanted to soak it for 3 days and use like a protection spray with black tourmaline, perfect. If you want to use it as a floor cleaner, put it in the floor cleaner. I'm like, go ahead, use it that way. You can do it as I've seen people put it in their washing machine, in their clothes. You can get rid of it that way. You can put it in a diffuser with essential oils. That's fine. You can, I'm trying to think, You can dab it on your vision board to help you manifest quicker or help you to amplify that manifestation. So a lot of times citrine, green aventurine is really good for stuff like that. So I'm trying to think. You can also put it in a vase with flowers. That's great. And then you can also use that, especially if it's like clear quartz, you can use that then to cleanse other crystals with. So like I said, after 3 days, we don't want to drink that water, but there's definitely a lot of different uses that you can use that would work fine. I've seen people like put a couple drops of like peppermint oil in there and then put it on the windowsill and kind of spread it around their house or even in a spray bottle to get rid of the bugs. So, I mean, like I said, there's lots of different, I've even seen one person use it in like, what is it called? Like watercolor. Like she'd dump it in there and then use it on the watercolor. I'm like, oh, brilliant. So like I said, don't waste it. It's still an elixir. It's been vibrationally attuned to the crystal that you put in there. So use it, right? Don't just throw it down the drain. So now after 3 days, what I'm going to tell you is just get some purified water. So I'll use it out of my fridge. Some people say the purified water. Other people would rather do like spring water. Now, I will tell you, plastic isn't good, but plastic is okay. I mean, I've done it. It's not a big deal. But usually I'm going to tell you, go get the mason jar. So go get a mason jar, get glass, and go ahead and store it in there. So like I said, I usually get I have a larger mason jar and I will put all 3 of my crystals in there. So I'll just put them right in the water after I soak them for 3 days. But like I said, these have been soaked, so I know that they're fine. But like I said, after 3 days, then you can, dump that out and then you can start drinking it. So again, you're going to notice a big difference when you drink it. The flavor is going to be different. That's the best thing I can tell you. So when it comes to that, there's different crystals that we can use for different reasons. And so I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about those different crystals. So the first one that's safe to use is green aventurine. Now I've got tumbled and raw both, right? So this is tumbled, this is raw, it's green aventurine. This one's excellent for that vision board, manifestation, money, 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 money. So this one is excellent for that. It also really helps you to open up that heart chakra. So this one isn't necessarily as good as, say, rose quartz, but this one's going to be excellent for people that have lung issues, breathing issues, asthma, anything like this. Green aventurine is also really good for like releasing old patterns. If you're trying to break patterns or break a habit, this one's the one to go to. So again, all you got to do, put it in the water, soak it for 3 days, get rid of that water, use it on those things that we talked about, and then you can drink it. All righty. So that's green aventurine. The next one that's safe to use, and this one is really good for my earthy people like me, or using for plants. So, and that's moss agate. So most agates, most calcites, and most Jaspers are fairly safe. Again, do your research. Don't just assume because you saw something on Google that it's going to be safe. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit later about some that I'm a little iffy on, and I'll explain why. So this one is moss agate. So this one's another safe one to use. Now, moss agate is really, plants love moss agate. So plants love moss agate. So that's an excellent one. So moss agate is really good for nurses, teachers, midwives, things like that. It's for my empaths. So green aventurine and moss agate, it's really good for my teacher, counselor, nurses, my empaths, my caregivers, right? So that's a really easy one. But moss agate, now here's the reason why I love moss agate too. This one is really good if you got a kid with a cold or a flu. So moss agate really helps the immune system to boost that immune system. So that's why I'm like, I love moss agate for sick kids. So it really helps. So that's a really good one. Somebody was asking about serpentine. I got to think about that one. I'm gonna say I think that one might be okay. Do your research, but I think that one might be a-okay. So, so next one that I'm gonna show you that's really good is, believe it or not, Super 7. So Super 7 is a combination of 7 different minerals. So it's amethyst, clear quartz, smoky quartz. I got a whole list. Concoxonite, geolith, and rutile. So like I said, I'm gonna show you this one here. I like Super 7. So it's just kind of, it's purpley, but kind of funky. So that's Super 7. That's another safe one. Now, Super 7 raises the vibes quick. So this is one where we don't necessarily want Super 7 in our water when we're at work, because it's going to make you go la la. So you're going to be like, la, la, la. You won't be able to really focus. But when it comes to meditation, dream recall, before you go to bed, this one's perfect for that one. What I like Super 7, it really kind of aligns and balances the chakras fairly quickly. So does Clear Quartz. Clear Quartz is still the master when it comes to that. Another one you can use is shungite. So this is shungite. Now, shungite is... Russia has some of the best water. Reason why? It goes through shungite before they drink it. Now, shungite's really good for blocking EMF, 5G energy. So it's very multi-purpose. So you can absolutely put pieces of this in your water. It'd be totally fine. So this one also really helps with diseases within the body. So it's known as like a miracle healer of a bit. So this one would be fine for people that are maybe pretty sick. So, but that's what shungite is. So these are two big old chunks. They're pretty shiny. So there's two different kinds. There's shungite and then there's noble shungite. Either one's fine. So those are safe to use. But again, those are best for just basic healing within the whole body. Next one is black obsidian. Now, I like black obsidian and I like clear quartz when it comes to work. So reason why, it gets you grounded and logical. So number two, why I like black obsidian is because it's very protective. So it protects you from negativity. And it really, it's very overly protective and, like I said, grounding. So I've got a tumbled one here and I got a raw one as well, or rough. So, but that's obsidian. It's kind of, it's glassy looking. Like I said, this is a really one to help you with like restlessness, nervousness, not necessarily anxiety. We got some better ones for anxiety. But this one is great for like joint pain. So knees, feet, hips, joint pain. So that's black obsidian. Like I said, excellent, excellent one. It's totally fine to use in water. Now here's the deal with black obsidian. So you can't go from like super cold to super hot because it will break. So black obsidian will break in extreme temperatures. So be a little bit cautious with this one. If you're going to have it in like with a bunch of ice cubes, probably this one may not be good. So because once it kind of gets cold, it might crack or break. And somebody is asking, can you mix those with other crystals? Absolutely. So absolutely. Next one is, like I said, most of the calcites are going to be fairly safe. Now, calcites, think of calcium, really good for the bones, teeth, so things like that. So I have a rough piece of calcite, which is, I got blue calcite. So, and there's yellow, there's red, there's all kind of different color calcites and green. So the reason why I chose blue is because this one's really good for throat, speaking your truth, really good for being able to be heard when you're speaking. So this one's excellent to be able to use in your water as well. So, so that one also is really good for, blue calcite is just a really, it's just an easy crystal. It really just makes you relax and chill out a little bit. So this one, blue calcite does kind of help a little bit with negativity too. So next one I'm gonna talk about, no, tumbled rough doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's honestly whatever you think is cool. So I always tell adults, don't be so logical when it comes to crystals. I mean, this one you have to. But when it comes to picking out crystals, be like a kid. If you think it looks cool, most than likely you need it. So whether it's water safe or not, that's what I want you to do your research on. So this one here is rose quartz. This is a go-to must-have top 10 crystal here. I've got it both tumbled and I've got it in its raw form or rough form. So now here's what I love about rose quartz. You can put this in your bath water. Give yourself a little bit of self-love. So I have about 8 of these that I have in my bath water. What I love, they don't melt. They don't melt. So if I'm having a rough day, I'm going to have a salt bath, sea salt, with my crystals. So like I said, that's an excellent, excellent way. So don't forget, you can use these in your bath water. You can use them in your fish tanks. You can use them to get your pet, water your pets. There's a lot of different reasons on after you soak them for 3 days and get rid of that water. The other water that I'm talking about is that elixir. And then there's tons of different uses that you can use. I mean, like face spray. You can use it in an ice cube tray. So you want to have a cocktail? We would have a cocktail with some charged ice. So the other one is like tinctures. Another one I saw was she had a little bit left over from her crystal water and moon water, and she used it to cook her rice with. I'm like, brilliant. So, and humidifier, you can put them in humidifiers. You can, anything that you're going to ingest or inhale, then we want to make sure that, again, that these have been soaked for 3 days and that we use that, then we can use the water. Okay. They also make really cute gifts. I'll tell you, in the morning when I take my vitamins, I'll have my crystal water. So I literally have it's a smaller piece of crystal like this, and I put it in my bottled water. So I know that they say that, well, you really shouldn't have it with plastic. I'm like, I'm going for convenience here. I don't have a lot of time. So I'm just going to slip one in the water. The biggest thing is I just have to be careful, especially towards the end. So when I drink it, it doesn't bash me in the teeth. So 3 days, Lisa, we want to soak crystals for 3 days and then use that crystal water, like I said, for something else, water the plants, whatever the case may be. And then you can soak your crystals. And usually, honestly, it takes anywhere from 15 minutes to a couple hours. Good to go. And you'll notice a difference. You'll notice a difference pretty quick. So, okay, rose quartz. The next one I'm going to talk about is amethyst. So amethyst is for my anxiety-ridden peeps out there. So for my anxiety-ridden peeps, amethyst is your go-to. It really helps to calm and balance you out. It's also a huge detoxer. So when it comes to you detoxing off of cigarette smoke, alcohol, drugs, things like that, it really helps you with waste removal and getting it out of your system. So hang on. Okay, so amethyst is excellent for that. It also helps you to open up the crown and the third eye to balance that out. It balances out the brains. So if you're anxiety ridden or mentally exhausted, things like that, this is your go-to. So here's a rough or raw piece, and this is tumbled. This is actually chevron amethyst. So you can see the little V in it. That's why it's called chevron. So these are excellent too. These are great to put in your water bath. Like I said, this is my bathtub one. I've got 8 of these too. Usually I don't use amethyst too often. I usually do my rose quartz for my bath. So let's see here. Do you take them out after you bring your moon water back inside? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends. If it's clear quartz, probably not. So no, probably not. Next one I'm going to talk about is citrine. So citrine is another one of those safe ones. Now I have Congo citrine. I like the Congo citrine versus the other kind of tumbled citrine. So I said there's that one, and then here's also a generator. So you can also put these in as well. So this is citrine, 2 different sizes. This one really helps with depression, because depression lies in the solar plexus. So it also helps you with self-confidence, self-worth. It just makes you feel better. It's very sunshiny and really happy. So think of this as kind of the happy crystal. So, which I think we can't sprinkle that crap around enough right now. So, but like I said, this is citrine, really good stuff. Another easy go-to one that I use a lot. So I'm kind of a citrine girl. So it does help you with like stamina when it comes to energy too. So it just kind of keeps the energy going for you. And fatigue helps with that. So next one, red jasper. Now red jasper is another one that is a great grounder and keeps you logical. Jaspers are the get your crap in order crystal. So if you feel like maybe like life is a bit disarray, or you feel like you're getting pulled 8 ways from Sunday, red jasper is the way to go. So this is a piece of, like I said, that rough or raw form, and then this is tumbled. So like I said, 2 different kinds. Usually when it comes to water, honestly, I don't do the rough. I'll usually do tumbled. However, when it comes to my bath, I like them rough. So I'm like, Weird. This one really helps with, again, strength, vitality. This one also helps with like hip, knees, feet issues, anything along those lines. It does help you with dreams, but it's kind of an upper, and a lot of people can't handle that higher vibration when they're sleeping. So test it out. If it's too much for you, then we have to switch to a different crystal. But it does help with dreams too. So last one on the list, actually there's two more. Next one is carnelian. Now carnelian's really, really good for ladies with their lady parts and guys with their guy parts. So especially when it comes to menstruation, infertility, any of those type of issues, that's where carnelian comes in. So this is tumbled. They're kind of orangey reddish in color. So that's this one. Here's another piece right there. And then this is the rough form here. Not that pretty rough. It's really not. It's kind of ugly. So, but these, like I said, some of them can be really pretty orange colored. So, but that's carnelian. Again, carnelian is definitely an upper. So if you need a little boost of energy when it comes to about that 2 o'clock point, because you're getting tired, grab yourself a piece of carnelian or put that in your water. That's a really, really good one. Because it really boosts the energy up. Lillian was asking if she can put essential oils in the bath water. Yep. The only exception, now I just talked about carnelian. Now here's the exception with carnelian. Do not put carnelian in salt water. That's a big no-no. So I would tell you, just don't bathe with carnelian. So, because when I take my baths, I literally, like I said, 8 chunks of this. I put in sea salt. If my muscles are sore, I'm going to put a little Epsom salt, and then I'm going to put about 4 drops of essential oil. So I'm like, I got lots of stuff. So, but at the same time, that's what I like. So, and everybody's different, but carnelian is a no-go when it comes to salt water. So that's the only one that I think that really kind of stands out that I'm like, that's not one we want to do with salt water. But everything else, for the most part, is fine when it comes to bathing, drinking, stuff like that. So last one and not least is Bloodstone. Bloodstone legit helps you with your blood. So if you have blood clots, anemia, leukemia, anything to do with blood or blood related issues, Bloodstone's the way to go. It is pretty people don't realize that Bloodstone's kind of a higher vibe one. So some people can handle it, some people can't. But people that do have blood issues notice a big difference in this one. And sometimes they can't handle it because it's fairly kind of high vibe for them. This one also really helps with if you're working on the dark night of your soul, and you're working on the relationship that you had or the lack of relationship that you had with your mother, this one is really going to help to open up that line of communication so you get a bigger perspective and understanding so you can forgive. So, and again, this one is really good for blood disorders, really good for menstrual cramps. This is a good one too. And like I said, if you want to put this in elixir, great. If not, stick it in your bra. It's fine. So, or your pocket, whatever. So like I said, those are the kind of the top ones that I'm going to recommend that you can absolutely put, like I said, you can drink, you can bathe, you can put it in your fish tank, you can put it in your ice cubes, face spray, drink it with your vitamin water, like I said, tincture, different things like that. There's tons of different ways that you can use this. And like I said, please make sure that you're doing your research first. Don't just assume that it's going to be safe. Now there's some exceptions to the rule. So I've seen that they've been saying that tiger eye is okay to use. I'm going to say no. So I'm going to say no to tiger eye. And the reason why is because if it's tiger iron, it contains hematite, which is iron. So it might rust out the water a little bit. I'm a little iffy on that. The other one is it could contain, I've heard it could contain asbestos. So that's why I'm like tiger iron, or tiger eye, I'm going to tell you probably not. The other one that I read that was fairly safe that I'm going to say no to, and the reason, here's my reason. Smoky quartz, natural smoky quartz. Most quartzes are going to be fine to use. However, in the trade, there's a trade dirty secret. And sometimes they will radiate smoky quartz to make it darker. And if that's the case, I don't want it anywhere near a drink or anything that you're going to, like I said, put in your body. That's an absolute no. I know that at Awakenings, we know where we get our smoky quartz from, so I know it's safe. But the reason why I'm doing this video is just to kind of let everybody know, I'm like, if you're not getting it from a reputable source, then don't use it. Okay, just don't use it. The other one is Moonstone. I've read where Moonstone's safe, and other people are like, I'm going to tell you, to me, it's not safe because I do think Moonstone contains aluminum. So for me, that's a no-go. So I would tell you no to that one too. But like I said, like most quartzes, calcites, jaspers, and agates are going to be fairly safe. But again, please do your research. Don't just go in blind and be like, oh, I'll just put this in my water. I'm like, because there's a lot of different crystals like malachite. No, there's lots of different crystals that we don't want to put in our water. So, but like I said, safe bets are the ones that I showed you. At the end of this, I will go ahead and list them at the bottom for the description, so you guys have them. But again, if you're unsure, just don't do it. Just don't do it. There's too many weird things that could go wrong. Yes, Madison, you cannot get selenite wet. That's a no-go. Don't want to do that. Do you only ever have to soak them 3 days one time? Yep. So like I said, I've soaked these and I've soaked my rose quartz. So if I want to put my rose, because this was in my bath water. Now, if I just want to throw this in my mason jar and drink it, I know it's going to be safe. So, so no, you don't want to use fluoride because it does contain fluorine. So fluoride is a no-go. So nope, that's a no-go. That's another one that I heard that was, oh, that's safe to use. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. So, because that's got fluorine in it and I wouldn't drink it. So, like I said, there's a lot of different ones that I'm going to tell you just to kind of stay away from. Celestite, like I said, I have a whole list. Black tourmaline. Black tourmaline has aluminum in it. However, if you want to put black tourmaline with a little bit of water and a little bit of alcohol, whether that's Everclear, you shake that up, you squirt that around the house. That is an excellent protection spray. So nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Go ahead and use it. You just don't want to drink it. So, other things like Bumblebee Jasper, the reason why it's so yellow is because of sulfur. So again, don't want to do this. So I'm going to go over real quick again what I had said. When you first get a crystal, wherever you get it from, the first thing you're going to do is cleanse it. We're going to do a little sage, and then we're going to charge it, whether that's with the full moon or we're going to put it on a piece of selenite for a few days. Usually for me, 3 days. So once it's charged, then we're going to soak it in water for 3 days. So we don't want to drink that water because, again, it's getting all the impurities out of the crystal. So if there's any weird things in the crystal, we want to dissolve it or get it off of our crystal. So we can use that water, however, like I said, to water our plants with. We can use it for floor cleaner, stick it in the washing machine, different things like that. So you could still use it. You just don't want to drink it. So, and then after 3 days, after they've been soaked, then they're ready to use. So then all you have to do is just throw it in some water, wait literally a few hours, good to go. So the biggest thing is just remember that you still have to charge them in the full moonlight once in a while, because the more you use it, the more you want to kind of keep it cleansed and charged. Once it's cleansed, it's fine. Just don't let anybody else touch your crystals, like I said. So I do have, and they're coming. I haven't gotten them done yet, but at Awakenings, we do have bath crystals. So that I know that are going to be safe for you guys. So I haven't gotten those together yet because we're actually working on some other crystal kits for Awakenings. But like I said, those will be coming out here within probably next week, honestly. I'm just waiting for my products to come in so I can package them and get little cute labels on them and make them all cool. So, but like I said, biggest thing is once you're cleansed and charged, you're good to go. I would tell you, if you're really new to this, start with just clear quartz. That's an easy one. You will notice a huge difference right away with clear quartz. You will. It really does make the water sweet. It's really cool. So again, here's the deal. I want one more idea here. And I'm gonna use my kid's drink. So, so he had Fanta. So, so here's the deal with this one. If you guys are unsure and you still want to drink the water, don't put the crystal in the water, put it on the outside. So surround it, put it on the outside because the energy of the crystal is still going to go in or near the water. So again, if at any point in time, if you're unsure, put it on the side. Put it on the side of the crystal, put it on the side of the water. Totally fine. It'll work just as well. So don't feel like you got to do all this research. If you just want a quick one and you don't really want to research, you don't have a lot of time, put it on the outside of your glass, put it on the outside of your water, and literally charge it overnight. Good to go in the morning. Good to go. So you can totally put them on the outside. If they're points, of course, we want to point them into the water like that. Again, I would tell you, I'm a proponent in 1, 3, 6, 9, 12. So whenever I'm charging my water and I'm unsure, I'll put those points on the outside. Usually I'm going to do, like, I'm trying to think of what the points I use. Sometimes, most of the time, it's going to be black tourmaline. So, so I'm going to do it that way. So totally fine with that too. But like I said, you can also put your crystals in moon water if you really want to get a buzz. So that's okay too. And I shot a video here not too long ago about moon water as well. So like I said, these are the ones that are totally safe. I will be listing these at the bottom of this video, so that way you guys have them. But again, I want to kind of thank everybody for watching here. This is pretty cool. So, but like I said, glass jars are the best. So go for it. Just experiment, try it, because each one of these vibrates at a different frequency, and it's definitely going to change the taste of the water. Now, here's the deal. If you drink that water and you feel like it tastes like crap, you don't need that crystal. You think you do, you don't. So it should taste really good to you. And if it doesn't, that means to tell me that crystal is a no-go for you. All right, guys. So again, I want to thank everybody for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, be sure that you do. If you have any ideas on maybe something that you want to learn, by all means, email me. I'm also still on Facebook, so go ahead and hit me up on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as well. So if, like I said, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure that you do. Also, if you haven't signed up for my newsletter, that'd be a really good idea to do that, because I'm always doing little things. We have flash sales at Awakenings once in a while too. You don't want to miss out. So make sure that you sign up for my newsletter, because my newsletter peeps always get the first dibs. So, and then, like I said, outside of that though, we're all good. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful week, and kind of hang in there. All right. So this will be available back on YouTube. And like I said, I will list the ones that I spoke about. All right, guys. Thank you so much. You guys take care. Have a wonderful week ahead. All right.